Today in this video, I'm going to be discussing the Vanir twins, but which Vanir twins? So in the God of War Ragnarok Collectors and Jotnar editions, we see that we get two statues of Vanir twins, and most people have theorized that this is Freya and Freyr. But what if I tell you that they are two different gods altogether? Let's jump right into it. So in Norse mythology, there are not really a lot of sagas or poems that go over the Vanir set of gods, and they mostly go over the Aesir. But we do know from mythology that after the Aesir and Vanir war that hostages were traded between the two sets of tribes. But it really wasn't a hostage situation, it was actually more of a truce. So what they did, they exchanged different gods from the Aesir and Vanir to live amongst each other to spread knowledge and live in peace. So coming from the Vanir set of gods, we have Freya and Freyr along with their father Njord that came to live among the Aesir. Now from the Aesir to live among the Vanir, we have a god named Hymir and our favorite severed head, Mimir. But at this time, his head wasn't quite severed yet. And for a while, they really did live in peace, especially Freya, Freyr, and Njord with the Aesir. But the same could not be said for Hymir and Mimir living among the Vanir. So Hymir actually started out giving really sound and knowledgeable advice to the Vanir, but soon after this they actually figured out that Hymir wasn't what they thought. Some say Hymir was actually pretty slow-witted, and found out that Mimir was the one with the great advice. The Vanir tribe actually thought they had been cheated with the swap, who sent their primary gods Freya, Freyr, and Njord to the Aesir. So, what did they do? They chopped off Mimir's head and sent it back to the Aesir. So this is where Mimir's severed head came from, but we're getting a little off topic right now. So the two main gods that we know as twins from the Vanir tribe are Freya and Freyr. But there are two gods that are also twins that plays a much bigger role in Ragnarok than we actually think. So during our travels with Mimir in the God of War universe, we do learn a lot about Ragnarok, especially when it pertains to Odin. But let's focus on Skoll and Hati, the two wolves that swallow the sun and moon during Ragnarok, because they have a bigger thing to do with the Vanir twins in this video.
You're familiar with the tale of Skoll and Hati, bringers of day and night?
Oh yeah, the wolf giants.
Aye. They were born of the arch-wolf Hrothwitnir, a great nemesis of the Aesir gods. Odin captured them as pups and kept them in the kennels of Asgard to hold his foe at bay. But when the sun and moon grew mutinous and stood still, Odin put Skoll and Hati to use. With his ancient magics, he cast the wolves to the heavens, and they began their chase. And long shall they chase, but not endlessly, for it is foretold that someday Skoll and Hati will catch and devour their prey. And that day shall be Ragnarok, the twilight of the gods.
But Ragnarok is supposed to be Odin's doom, isn't it? Why would he set the wolves loose if it fulfills the prophecy?
Precisely the question, lad. It's always about control. The wolves determine when Ragnarok begins, and now he controls the wolves. A battle fought on his timetable is a battle he better stands to win.
So this clip goes over a little bit more of what we know about Skoll and Hati, the two wolves that Odin actually released into the sky to devour the sun and the moon. But let's look in the Skoll and Hati shrine that we find in God of War 2018, where the actual Vanir twins make an appearance. So looking at the shrine right here, we actually see these two wolves devouring the sun and moon, or at least chasing them in one and devouring them in another. This is obviously Skoll and Hati, but the picture I want you to look at closer is the middle panel in this shrine. What's so significant about this middle picture? The two other animals in it. In the middle panel, we see two horses pulling the sun and moon across the sky. This is what I want to focus on. There are two gods that came around the time when the cosmos actually were created. And around this time of their creation, they did not know their powers or what their role would be in the world. So all the gods at the time came together and gave these two gods a role. One to pull the sun across the sky, and the other the moon. And at the end of days, the twilight of the gods, they will be devoured by Skoll and Hati. These gods are named Mani and Sol. Okay, so we know the Vanir gods that I think are the twins that we get in the Collectors and Jotnar's edition, but why do I think that they are Mani and Sol over Freya and Freyr? Let's take a closer look at the figurines that we get from these boxes. So at first glance, there really isn't a ton to see. Looks just like a couple of handcrafted figurines. But if you look a little bit closer, you actually see something that sticks out quite significantly on each of the figurines. One of the figurines looks like they have a carving of a sun, and the other, a moon. These symbols right here is why I think this is Mani and Sol over Freya and Freyr. Now, whether we will encounter Mani and Sol during God of War Ragnarok at this time is completely unknown, or they will just run out what they were supposed to do in Ragnarok, die. Well, if you want to learn just a little bit more about these gods, I do have this video right here where me and Captain Cuba go over some gods that we might see in God of War Ragnarok if you want to check it out right here. So do you think these two Vanir twins are Mani and Sol, or do you think it's still Freya or Freyr? Tell me in the comments down below, and let's discuss it. My name is Shane Static, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.